Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. Welcome back to VALORANT news. It's absolutely crazy. This is an emergency video. I'm on the road, I'm on the laptop. I will be for the coming days, but that does not mean there isn't a lot to discuss. We've had some madness today in the VALORANT side. The partnership teams for 2023 have pretty much now in Europe and North America been confirmed, and some big names are missing out. No OpTic, no TSM, and apparently no G2 based on the recent drama there. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy, subscribe if you're new as always, I'd greatly appreciate it. The current rumor has it there's only 5 spots in North American VALORANT franchising, 3 from Brazil, 2 from Latin America, who really knows, but 5 is crazy given the number of quality organizations, and the number of organizations and the actual organizations themselves that are missing out is so mind-blowing to me based on what these orgs have done, and I would love to see some reasoning when this stuff gets confirmed. Firstly, let's discuss the European side. We of course talked earlier today about some of the teams that got confirmed over there. As kind of someone from a Call of Duty background, it was really cool to see Heretics get a spot. They'd done, I mean, honestly, Heretics and Giants, 2 organizations that carried Spanish Call of Duty for such a long period of time before when the CDL kicked in, they did not get their fair share, you could argue. Thankfully, in the VALORANT side, they seem to, well, it seems to be the case. So Heretics are going to get a spot next season. That might be surprising to some people, but it's good to see for the Spanish scene. But there's a lot of Spanish support here, actually, which is maybe kind of surprising. They already got Koi, Heretics, and now Giants. Now Turkey have got BBL. Futbolist as well might be in consideration for another spot, but BBL, I thought that's cool to see for the Turkish scene. They could, get cNed, build around him. Maybe that's the idea. But yes, apparently 3 Spanish teams in the EMEA League for next season, with Giants reportedly making it as well. So that's a big deal. Now, of course, at the time, people were like, well, hang on a second, what's going on with G2? Because G2 is a European organization. People thought, okay, they'll probably go to Europe, but they wanted the North American spot. But obviously the NA spots are incredibly limited, so it was a surprise where G2 we're going to go, right? If they're going to get an NA spot, also, how is it fair for G2 to get an NA spot? Orgs like OpTic, TSM, these guys that we'll discuss in a second, put loads of money into resources, and the OpTic guys especially put so much into actually building this organization up and picking up the best guys from the North American side, building a team, building a fan base over there, and G2, not even a North American team, just swoops in and gets a spot anyway. Seems a little bit strange, I think, in a lot of people's fans' minds. Turns out, though, no G2 anyway. We'll discuss that here in a second. So let's talk America. So the rumor had it, we discussed earlier today, my kind of top 6 candidates: Cloud9, Sentinels, 100 Thieves, OpTic, of course, we'll discuss that, TSM, and Sentinels, or NRG, or, whatever, I probably repeated one, but you guys get the picture. So Cloud9, according to George Geddes, this is not confirmed officially. Tomorrow, we believe we're going to get confirmations, but according to what the players believe, what the staff believe, they've, of course, been informed now, these teams, and this is what the sources are suggesting, and these sources, because they're being replicated across many different journalists, are likely to be accurate. Cloud9, they've got partnership expected, but look, all these organizations I talk about, I think should get partnership. It's crazy to me that these organizations are missing out. NRG, another big org, done some great things. To me, they were kind of the one on maybe the fringe of the top tier orgs that I thought would maybe get in, but they got in anyway. So Cloud9, NRG, and Sentinels, as expected. Of course, there was some brief concern that Sen wouldn't make it, but, given the absolutely immense strength of their brand within VALORANT, it makes sense that they've turned out here to be, well, one of the teams that's getting into franchising, and the top dogs, they're still there. Of course, because these orgs are now in, we believe they're in, they will now have to raise their own questions and discuss the ideas internally, what they do with their roster for next season, right? What do they plan to do? Do they keep TenZ? I mean, TenZ can leave if he wants to, as we saw, based on his contracts coming to an end, but, I guess TenZ is going to stay, and then they're going to build a new team, whatever, right? They've got to decide that now that they're in. The big concern, though, is for the teams that didn't make it. So Crew Esports, apparently they're going to make it as well, represented the Latin American region, and then further news coming out with regard to Loud and Furia, apparently also making it and accepted into league. So that means Sentinels, Cloud9, NRG, Loud, Furia, Crew, that's already 6, and then they might have another one from South America, and they might even have one more than that, right? And then they've got to figure out what happens in North America. So this is where the questions are being raised. Hang on a second here. We've got Sen, Cloud9, NRG, one of TSM, OpTic, 100 Thieves. One of these guys has to miss out. Maybe way more than one of these guys has to miss out. Even as Chet says here from OpTic, seems to be one key piece of missing information from these franchise leaks, and it turns out very shortly afterwards that TSM apparently have not secured partnership. As it stands, we don't know why. We don't know if we will ever really know why, right? Obviously, it's not a franchise league in the traditional sense where organizations have to pay Riots to get in. It's the other way around. Riot decides if you are attractive enough as an option to have in your league. TSM, for whatever reason, despite the success and the tenure in League of Legends and stuff, look, they haven't done much in Valorant, in fairness. Like, tried, but their rosters haven't been that great. But seemingly, however good your roster is, doesn't matter at all in terms of deciding what's going to happen here. So we can speculate as to why these teams might not get in, but TSM is a pretty crazy one. And then Kevin Hitz comes out with this, suggesting that not just TSM are out, but also OpTic are out as well. This is honestly crazy, right? And as I've said, the strength of the roster doesn't necessarily matter. It's other reasons. But I thought OpTic would have been not exactly a slam dunk, but I would have been very surprised, as I am, that OpTic don't make it. Like, they've been an incredibly, obviously, powerful team for the last several months, done great. Yes, they might not quite have the same viewership drawing potential maybe than Sentinels do, but still, they're not too far off a lot of the other teams in North America, like TSM may be included in fairness. Now, I don't know if this is to do with, in some extent, the financial side, because if you guys know anything about OpTic over the last few years, it's been a rather rocky road with regard to, like, the ownership group, right? Hex had it, then it was sold to Infinite, then it was sold to Immortals, then Hex kind of got it back with NRG, then he, like, left NRG, went to team up with Envy, so it's been a bit of a mess, right, the last few years. Now, Envy have good financials, they've got good backing, and of course, if they believe that OpTic was going to stay stable for the next several years, I kind of would be surprised that they made this choice. But for whatever reason, it does indeed seem that OpTic are not in franchising next year. This, of course, has mega implications because they have arguably the best team in the game, louder the best team in the game right now, but in terms of most consistent over the course of the season, OpTic are that team. They want to stay together as a team of 5. Where will they go? TSM apparently showed interest in buying OpTic if they didn't make it through to franchising, buying the OpTic organization, at least their team, right, to get through. Or do OpTic then say, well, look, we didn't get into franchising, but of course, Ascension is now a thing, right? You can actually get into the partnership league by qualifying for it. OpTic won't do this, right? The players will go to an actual tier 1 team, but OpTic could, if they really wanted to, say, look, guys, fire away through the tier 2 scene for a season, and we'll qualify as OpTic and as a team into the franchise league. But that's not how they're going to do it. But OpTic, TSM, these orgs now have to make their mind up. Do they actually commit to the tier 2 scene, or do they not bother with it, right, and just give up on Valorant effectively? So absolute madness, and as Ye says, all good, but basically, you know, sad face, he knows he's not in. Victor says, what just happened? Madness scenes. Ethan says, good morning, apparently he's in. And even this, I thought, from FNS, right, never forget that Som, the streamer and content creator, has a spot in franchising before Ye, the best player in the world. That's the crazy thing about this, right? I just don't know what you guys think, right? Like, you know, just the fact to me that there are so few spots. We heard initially there might be 8 teams or 10 teams from North America, and even then it was like, damn, we're going to lose FaZe, we're going to lose, you know, maybe EG, but we'll see EG in a second actually might have made it. Kind of crazy. We'll see that in a second. You know, Complexity, like, that's of course not even top of the list, but the Guard, version 1, all these orgs that we thought, damn, they might not make it because there's only 10 teams. Then it was 8, then it was 7, then it was 6, now apparently it's 5. So, you know, I honestly don't even want to know what to say anymore. Now, this is the other side of things, like, which actually blew my mind, to be honest, that apparently G2 were going to have the 6th NA spot, effectively. There was going to be 6 NA spots plus the other 5. Now, due to, if you guys saw the recent drama with Carlos, the owner of G2, was kind of spotted partying with Andrew Tate. There was a lot of uproar about this within the community, and he then had to, like, apologize and stuff, even though he didn't really mean it, as I'm sure you guys can tell if you go to watch it, well, if you look at his likes on Twitter and stuff. Now, anyway, there's recent controversy about that. They had a spot locked in. Apparently, Riot had an emergency meeting and decided otherwise, kicking them out and actually having the last NA spots going to Leviathan, apparently. So, I don't know what's going on anymore, but apparently this is the case. George Geddes can confirm this as well, that yes, G2 are out of contention for partnership. So, they're not in Europe, they're not in North America. G2 are gone, effectively because of these recent developments. If you guys saw this, with a kind of, well, the thing that comes out here from G2, Carlos did a quote tweet, and I mean, yeah, this is crazy that honestly, the timing of this, if this is indeed correct, as it does seem to be that G2 aren't going to get in because of this one reason, and now the organizations that maybe were going to be there in North America are now gone. But even the idea in the first place that G2 are going to get an NA spot, I feel like a lot of NA fans will feel kind of disrespectful to their region, given some of the other organizations that have given so much of that region. And I mean, yeah, I don't know. I think I'm going to pretty much leave it there for today. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more to discuss on this tomorrow morning, but I just did want to mention this as well from Chet as well, because he says to Sean Gares, like, you know, stop Sean, because learning to stream because OpTic are free agents, right? Effectively implying that, you know, now OpTic are gone, then if 100 Thieves do get in, as they still may or may not, we don't really know right now. I think a lot of people are leaning on the side of they don't get in 100 Thieves, which is also madness. But like, you know, organizations will be looking to pick up the entire OpTic organization, the entire OpTic team to their team. So like therefore they can drop their entire roster. Like Sentinels aren't going to drop their team for the OpTic team, but they could theoretically. So I mean, yeah, that's craziness. And also just this to mention, as Noin points out, his theory, or like what he's heard, which obviously aligns with the current rumors of who the teams are going to be, that indeed 100 Thieves will get in alongside Cloud9, Sen, NRG, and Evil Geniuses apparently as the 5th team, with Loud, Furia, MIBR, Crew, and Leviathan rounding out the 10. So that's where we're going to leave it for today. Intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below more than ever. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Definitely loads you guys are not going to want to miss over the coming days. On the verge of 25k as well. Thanks for watching as always. Take care, and I'll see you next time.